It's time for the Movin the Chains podcast. Your home for high school football coverage in the Palmetto State. Every team, every game, every week. And now your hosts, Kevin Thomas and John Epps.
Welcome in, folks. Kevin Thomas, John Epps here. Moving the Chains. We are getting ready to give you our round three playoff preview show, John. Last week was just an awesome week of football. Every game we were checking the score on was huge. Everything seemed to be close. Tons of one-score games, tons of upsets across the state. And this week, maybe even bigger with some of these quality matchups we have.
No kidding. There were 12 one-score games across the state last week. And a lot of those one-score games right down to the last minute, too.
Yep.
One, they were up by 2 touchdowns and somebody scored one late. Super good games. I know you and Jarrell covered the Greenville AC Florida game on Friday. That was an absolute all-timer. Hard-play game by both teams. And it looks like that was common theme across the state last Friday.
Man, so many big ones. Appreciate you guys being in here. I said we got Kevron in here and a few other viewers already. If this is your first time, like our page, like our post. Follow us here on Facebook at Movin Chains. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Movin Chains as well. We do a preview show weekly here Tuesday nights. We go live on Facebook for. We do a recap show on Sundays. It goes out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff as well. We do some interviews. We do some content around the games we're covering. We're obviously tweeting out scores and whatever. So definitely follow us on all social media networks and definitely tell all your friends. We got a really good interview coming for you guys tomorrow night. Great Collegiate Academy War Eagles head coach Adam Holmes is joining us. Gives us some really good insight into the Abbeville game, one of the bigger games in the state this week, and just things about his program. Definitely want to tune in for that one. But John, let's get going here with the big boys. 5A. We were here in the round 3 of 5A here. We've got Spartanburg hosting Ridgeview, Northwestern hosting Gaffney, Dutch Fork hosting Sumter, and Fort Dorchester hosting Lexington. Let's start with that Ridgeview-Spartanburg game, John. A ball game that, we didn't really see coming. Both of us picked Hillcrest last week. We got some flack for that, apparently, after that.
That's okay. That's deserved. That's all right.
I tell you what, Ridgeview's playing some really good ball right now. They beat Clover 2 weeks ago and beat Hillcrest, a good Hillcrest team.
Out Clover.
They did. Spartanburg also playing great. Raheem Jeter has just been great for them. They've had a different receiver step up each week. I think the Richardson kid had a big game last week. The Danton kid had a big game 2 weeks ago. Singor had a big game as well. Drake Carter's back for them. Who do you like in this ballgame? I think I've got to lean Spartanburg being at home and how well Jeter's playing. But, man, Ridgeview is on a heater right now as well.
I think so too, but gosh, this is a coin flip kind of game. I was thinking about this earlier today ago. Man, I kind of want to pick Ridgeview. The little highlight that we were tagged in there was a great highlight video. And the game was 47-41. With that 2-minute highlight, there were a ton of defensive plays, mainly by the secondary of Ridgeview, knocking balls away, playing good defense. So obviously, without knowing exactly how that game went, obviously, Ridgeview just made plays when they had to make plays.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. You're going to play some good teams. People are going to score some points on you. You just got to make plays when it comes down to it. And I think I'm leaning towards Spartanburg here, too, because I thought Spring Valley was going to beat Spartanburg last week. Spring Valley is a very, very good team. Ridgeview, familiar. They are right down the road from Spring Valley. That's a familiar program to them. I think this is going to be a great game. It's going to be interesting to see the matchup between Spartanburg's defense and that Ridgeview offense.
Yes.
Because that Spartanburg defense has been pretty good all year. And that Ridgeview offense, man, they were great to start the year. And then they went to a little bit of a lull, took some hard losses in the middle of the season. But now, the last 2 weeks where it really counts, boy, they have looked really, really good. They were the number 5 team in the state earlier this year,
Yep.
and they're looking like it again now. This is gonna be really. I could see either one of these teams winning by 10.
Yeah.
Depending on whichever one comes out, really firing. This is gonna be a really, really good game.
Yeah, I see a lot of points happening in this ballgame, honestly. With the way that the Washington kid and all those guys are playing for Ridgeview with Agnew and Smith and those guys there, they can put up points. We know Spartanburg can with Jeter and all of his weapons there. But I think playing at home for Spartanburg, didn't really expect to get a home game in this round because Hillcrest had the home field advantage until Ridgeview knocked them off. But I think them playing at home is giving them a little bit of an edge there in that ball game, and I think I'm going to take the Vikings to beat the Blazers on Friday night, John.
I like that as well, and I like what Coach Hodge is doing. I'm a big Coach Hodge fan. Looks like he's got things really rolling for the Vikings here, late in the season here in year 2 for Coach Hodge.
No doubt about it. Lots of good viewers here. We got Chad in here, Kevron, Derek, Daniel, April, Jamar, Amy's in here, Patrick. Appreciate you guys. Ryan's in here. Kevron says go Gray, and shouts out Coach Holmes as well. Amy says go Greenville, beat Irmo. Patrick says biggest question in the whole state, Gray or the Big A. That's a game we're going to get to in a little bit. That is a big-time ball game, probably one we're going to be at. Huge game down there. Chad says good evening. Hope y'all are enjoying it. Thanks, Chad. Hope you're having a good time as well, man. Derek says what's up, guys. What's up, Derek? Great to hear from you as well. Chad says Jordan's brother had a big game for night against Chapin. Good to hear there, John. Let's get into a game now that I know that Chris Blanton and Patrick Martis are interested in. Probably the biggest 5A game in the state this week. That's Gaffney going on the road to District 3 Stadium against Northwestern. Gaffney, they beat TL Hanna by 8. I feel like it wasn't really that close. I know it's a one-score game, but I feel like Gaffney kind of had control of the whole game there. Northwestern just demolished Burns 42-3. John, we know about Gaffney. We know what they're running attack with Little John and Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith ran for 3 touchdowns last week. The quarterback Grayson Loftus, big-time prospect, 3 for 2 touchdowns last week. They got so many guys on offense with Little John, Smith, Loftus, Jadarius, Little John, Edward Jeffries. Just tons of guys that can make plays. And on defense, they've got guys like Marquise Bradley and the Bullet Kid. And who else we got here? Brayshawn Littlejohn and Dowdle and all those guys. Just names all over the field for Gaffney. Northwestern, we know about Will Madison. Big-time quarterback there. Running back Turbo Richard. The 2 receivers, Watkins and Caldwell, can really make it happen. Defensive guys like McClellan and Letta and Wilkes. I really like the DB, Ja'Cory Bryson, a whole lot there. A lot of big names on both sides of this game. A huge matchup here in round 3, John. Who do you like between the Indians and the Trojans?
Tell you what, this is another tough one too. Because I expected, and boy, I guess I jinxed Burns last week because I thought, man, this is going to be a really, really good game. I think it's going to be a lot of points scored. And Northwestern keeps the Rebels out of the end zone the entire night. I did not expect that. Burns has been playing really, really good football of late. The offense was really clicking. Gabe Rogers, I still think he's one of the best players in the state. They completely shut them down. Had that not happened, I would have picked Gaffney easily. But a 42-3 win over a Burns team that was playing really well. Boy, that makes me really, really like Northwestern. We saw them play in person against Greenwood a few weeks ago. I think Gaffney's still the better team here. I think I'm leaning toward Gaffney to win this game. But if Northwestern plays like they did last Friday, if they can replicate that, I don't know that Gaffney beats. I think that's Gaffney's got to play. Northwestern's got to play their best game.
Yeah.
But if Gaffney doesn't, if they don't play their best game, they better hope Northwestern doesn't either. Because if they do, I think Northwestern wins the game.
Talking about Northwestern, that offense is so balanced. I think last week I read where they had 53 plays, 24 passes, 29 runs. So they're very balanced. They can run and throw it there with Richard and Madison. The defense is playing great. I think they've allowed 7 or less in the last 3 games. I think before that they got 21 to maybe Spring Valley or somebody like that. But their long blemish coming to South Pointe, a high school game in week 0, have been great since then. Gaffney on the other side, their defense has been kind of the best way to describe this. I like their defense. I've got a lot of big name guys, but I feel like the defense hasn't been, really locked down at times.
Well, it's not break.
Well, I'm going to say it's been very opportunistic. They're very good at getting a big turnover when they need it, or getting a big stop, or a pick, or a fumble recovery, or whatever. And the special teams have been huge. They feel like they block a punt almost every week, it seems like. So this is 2 heavyweight matchups here. Heavyweight matchup between 2 really big programs. I think I'm leaning Gaffney. I don't know if Northwestern has quite the playmakers on offense to score against this Gaffney team as much as they're going to need to score. I think Gaffney will score. I think Gaffney's a little bit bigger up front, and should be able to run the ball a little bit on this Trojan team.
Yeah, there's a lot to account for Gaffney. I like with Northwestern. Madison's a great player, and you can talk about Tyrell Richard. He's a great player, but Northwestern does a good job. They're super well coached, well disciplined. They spread the ball around. It's not just Turbo getting the ball in the offense. They run it, they pass it. They're very good. But the athletes and the talent that Gaffney has on the defensive side of the ball as well, I think when you take that into account, you could say maybe that's a little bit of an even matchup. Maybe Gaffney's a little bit better when it comes to defense against Northwestern's offense. But then you look at Gaffney's offense, and they got talent all over the place over there too. I think Gaffney in a really, really close one. But again, they got to play a great game.
And don't forget, District 3 Stadium has not been the kindest place to Gaffney, or just really kindest place to any teams over the past 10, 20, 25 years. Tough place to play. I'm going Gaffney in a close one as well.
Tell you what, and this is out of the Rock Hill area teams, South Pointe, Rock Hill, Northwestern, Gaffney will now play 2 of them.
That's right.
If you can come out 2-0 against those 3, you're doing a pretty good job.
So big time game there. I'm sure Chris and Patrick will be there. Definitely, guys, keep us updated throughout the night. Definitely looking to tune into that one. Ryan says he thinks Northwestern defense is going to be show up and be too much in the end. Patrick said, "Don't let the N word come out, John. Don't do it." Brian says, "Go Indians." Patrick said, "Yeah, House of Horrors down Highway 5." yeah, a tough place to play, man. It really is. But now flipping over into the lower state here in 5A, John. Another big matchup. Sumter hosting Dutch Fork. Dutch Fork going on the road there for the Silver Foxes. Those guys keep rolling. Sumter has a pretty good defense. They had another guy get an offer this week that one of the D linemen did. But I just don't think they can slow down Dutch Fork enough to let their offense keep up.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good test for Dutch Fork into, I don't know what the best defense, maybe Lexington has been the best defense Dutch Fork's played all year. It's hard to tell. It wasn't Burns.
Yeah.
It could have been Greenwood. But this can be a good test for Dutch Fork because I think Sumter will be the best defensive team that they've played thus far. Maybe the best defensive team they play all year, no matter what. I think Sumter can keep them, I know this sounds ridiculous, perhaps under 40.
Yeah. Is that enough? Probably not.
It's not enough. It's not enough. Sumter's a good team, but they are, it's clearly the defense is carrying the Gamecocks. I think they can keep it somewhat competitive because of their defense, but I don't see this being a fourth quarter game.
I agree. I think Dutch Fork, the key for Dutch Fork, I was thinking about this last week when we were at the game, does it get to the point in the playoffs now where even if they're blowing their team out, they kind of keep the foot on the gas a little bit? Because they haven't had to play a four-quarter game yet. They just smoked everybody. So this is a game where maybe they keep Williams and they keep Green and keep Patterson into the third, maybe in fourth quarter, and put up just a huge number, getting ready for a game against Fort Dorchester or Gaffney or whoever they got to play in a state championship game where they may need to play 4 quarters. Because right now, I don't know, those guys are in 4-quarter shape. They just they don't have to play. I know no shame against that, but they just don't have to.
And this may work out perfect for Dutch Fork. Say they're up 35-7 and going to the fourth quarter, you're going to be more inclined to keep your guys, keep the starters in. And one thing that we did notice in that Burns game, Coach Knotts, he doesn't change the game.
No.
He'll mix in the players and he'll let the younger guys play. But it's still the same game plan. They still throw the ball. And it's not, I don't think it's a disrespectful way of carrying out the game plan, but it's smart.
Yeah.
Play the game.
Yeah.
Play your game plan. So, it won't be, if they do get into a fourth quarter kind of game, it's not a deviation from, oh gosh, I've only thrown the ball, 15 times in every other game. Now I got 3rd and 7 here in fourth quarter. My arm's tired. I don't think they're going to have that kind of problem.
Yeah. So I think we're both leaning Dutch Fork there. And then also we got Lexington playing at Fort Dorchester. John, Lexington, one of the better stories. I think they won 1 game last year, and now they find themselves in round 3 against a very good Fort Dorchester team. Chad said Joyner had a great game last week. Zoltan Osborne had another big game like he does every week there. The Patriots are tough. Can Lexington compete with these guys, you think?
I don't think so. Yeah, I was very impressed with their win last week against Goose Creek. Impressive game and won that one 28-14. But Fort Dorchester, they rolled over a good shaking team.
Yeah.
Fort Dorchester's very good. Are they Dutch Fork good? We may find out here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I think Fort Dorchester step ahead of these guys. But for Lexington, if they get blown out Friday, great season for them.
Yeah.
Great season to make it where they have. And keep in mind, they started the season out. They took a loss to West Florence. to open up the year.
That's right. That's right.
You know, Lexington Wildcats come a long way, certainly since last year and since week 0 as well. So no shame for Lexington. You know, play with nothing to lose, and hey, get a couple turnovers. Who knows?
That's right. Let's take a look now down at 4A, John. First game here, the team that we saw last week, Greenville hosting Irmo at Serene Stadium. We've got Greenwood hosting South Pointe down at the Bab there. We've got Myrtle Beach hosting Beaufort, and then we've got West Florence on the road at Region Foe Hartsville, John. Let's start here at Greenville, Irmo. You know, Greenville, a team that just had a huge win last week. You know, that's a game in years past where maybe they don't find a way to win it. Maybe they don't, you know, get up off the mat or whatever. It was really back and forth with AC4, especially that fourth quarter. They score. AC4 returns a kick for a touchdown. You know, Greenville doesn't score the next drive. They force a punt to get the ball back, drive down, score 30 seconds left to win the game. Just great performance by the Red Raiders. You know, Greenville has got a lot of offense, what they can do with, you know, Franklin and Sapp and Bennett and Kelly and Holland and just name after name there. Pepper, guys like that. Offensive line with Sadler's played better. Defensively, you know, Ashton Whitner, Shrine Bowl guy. Some other big players like Schuller and those guys that can really get done. Gentile. Irmo has some names too, John. Quarterback Isaiah Whiteside, really good player, really good athlete there. Jari Rogers, receiver, DB, had 6 touchdowns last week, including a pick 6. Big night for him there out wide. Then you've got guys like the Eamon Worry kid on the kind of late safety linebacker spot. But I don't know if they can go on the road 3 weeks in a row and continue this playoff run. I think Greenville has got to be the favorite here.
Yeah, I think Irmo's played great football. Nothing to take away from the Yellow Jackets, where they've gotten a little bit of break. They played great against York.
Yeah.
But, you know, I wasn't at that York game. You were there. You know, it said the offense just could not do anything.
Yeah, York was
and then
struggling that night.
I think Irmo caught a bit of a second-round break being play West Side. They took full control of that, dominated that game. But I can't tell you how much I am impressed by Greenville.
Yeah.
We've seen them play a lot of ball games over the last few years. And, you know, we were just waiting for it to happen last Friday. And I'm sure you and Jarrell covered this, where somewhere here, Greenville's going to stub their toe.
Yep.
And they're going to give this game away. And they didn't do it. And I think what changed is the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
This Greenville team showed a lot of discipline on the road against the defending state champs last week. And if they can beat AC4, I'm not worried about them being able to not handle Irmo. I think Irmo's a great team. They're playing great football. But Greenville's got that confidence going. We saw how happy they were after that game last Friday. Man, I felt good for those kids. Greenville's got it going on.
They do.
Got it going on. And the one little piece that I wanted to see from Greenville before I really bought into them was to have some discipline for 4 quarters. And they showed it.
Yeah.
They showed it. And not only did they show it, they were down. That kick return, that was 7.5 minutes left in the game.
Yep.
And that completely flipped the momentum. I go, well, game's over. Florida's going to win this one. And they came back down. Not only did they come back down, they scored. And then they kept AC4 from making a big play there at the end. AC4 had the ball at midfield.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very impressed with Greenville. I like the Red Raiders.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Greenville's got a very, very, very good chance at going to Columbia.
Yeah, I tell you, I do still worry some about the offensive line. You know, last week, Pro Franklin played a great ball game. I think 364 touchdowns, but he was getting drilled almost every play, it felt like. You know, they called a lot of kind of the sprint rollouts and what to kind of give him some more time, which did help with that. But he was still getting hit hard. I mean, even the last touchdown pass, it took him a second to get up off the ground. They had to kind of pick him up there.
And that wasn't the first time. I mean, that was half a dozen plays where he is on the turf well after the whistle.
Yeah, and that is one thing I'll say, looking back at Irmo, was in that York game there. The defensive line did a very good job, really the front seven, of kind of, you know, disguising who was going to come, who wasn't, especially on 3rd and long. They kind of like an amoeba thing where they have some guys stand up and just kind of rotate around. You never know who was going to rush and end up bringing 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. So, you know, I worry if Greenville gets behind the chains, if maybe the offensive line and those issues could kind of rear their head again. But Greenville, man, it's such a tough team. We think about it. They beat Rock Hill last-second field goal to start the season. Beat Malden last-second touchdown pass. They lost a tough one to Greenwood, but, you know, Greenwood's a great football team. And they win a last-second game against AC4 last week. They've been in close games. They know what it takes to win those. I think the Red Raiders are too much for the Yellow Jackets. I think Greenville wins this ball game as well.
Yeah, the one thing Greenville's got to work out this week, if they haven't already worked it out, getting that snap better.
Yeah,
There
a couple
were
times
lot
it
of
was
snaps, low right,
a little shaky.
and Irmo's got that all over the film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if they're gonna mix it up and pick and choose where they want to rush without showing their hand, that could be a big problem for Greenville.
Yep.
Attacking that left side of the line, because I mean, if you're already frankly leaning this way to the right,
Yep.
that could be an issue. But hey, saying it's one thing, getting it done is a totally different thing.
Exactly.
You know, AC
right.
Flora was seeing it too, and Greenville made the plays when they had to. They made the blocks when they. Or I'll say Franklin made the plays when he had to.
Man,
that kid was
stepped
impressive.
up.
Incredible,
That kid was impressive.
absolutely incredible performance by him.
Couple comments here from Ryan and Rashodi, both picking Greenville to win that ball game. Jimmy says Buford at Myrtle Beach is a huge game. Yeah, we'll get down here in a second, Jimmy. Chris says, what's up? Chris, what's going on, man? We just talked through your Gaffney Northwestern game here a few minutes ago. Definitely go check that out. A lot of good stuff there, John. Now the next game in Upper State 4A, I think the biggest game in the Upper State this week, and that's South Pointe going to Greenwood. I know some of the early brackets that came out had South Pointe at home. That's actually incorrect. The SCHSL, surprise, made a mistake on the brackets they put out, John. Never would have seen that coming,
Right here.
but it had to get flipped. Greenwood hosting South Pointe. This is a big-time matchup. Two of my favorite teams in 4A. I mean, just really good football teams. South Pointe put off a 47-20 victory over Lawrence, a Lawrence team that we thought was pretty good. Greenwood put off a 42-30 victory over Catawba Ridge. Last week for Lawrence, or for South Pointe, listen to this stat line, John. For Wayman Jenneret, wide receiver here, he caught a touchdown, ran a touchdown, and threw for a touchdown, all in the first half. So Wayman Jenneret had it going on. Also set the single-season receiving record for South Pointe there, and they've had some good guys come through there, no doubt about that.
Very good guys coming through there.
So big for him. You know, I like the McCord kid at quarterback, the running back, Sims, and those guys. They had 550 yards total offense last week against Lawrence. That's impressive. You know, A.J. Miller on defense is a big-time player for them. You look at Greenwood, I feel like they're getting stronger as the year goes on. You know, their main running back here, V. Morton, last week, ran for 42 times for 239 yards and 4 touchdowns. Bradley, the quarterback, scored. Leon Still, the running back, scored some for them. I do worry a little bit about their pass defense. And with what Jenneret and McCoy can do, that could cause some issues. But I think the key to this game, John, like it always is in pretty much every Greenwood game, is can you stop the triple option? Can you get them off the field? And can you get an early lead on the Eagles?
Yeah, and Greenwood's going to kind of, they've got their game plan. They're not going to change what they do, and they shouldn't. They're very good at it. I think, and I think I would probably pick Greenwood against almost everybody in 4A. I'm not doing it this week.
Yeah.
Lawrence was another game I said that watch out for this game, and I stand by it.
Yeah.
I stand by it. I think Lawrence was a really, really good team this year, very, very tough. And it wasn't even a game. South Pointe dominated them. And, you know, it sounded like South Pointe could throw the ball wherever they wanted to, or do whatever they wanted to on offense. And Greenwood, with the back half of that defense, that really scares me because outside of Dutch Fort, this is going to be the best passing offense that Greenwood's faced. We saw them against Hillcrest.
Yep.
Now, they won that game, but that second half, Hillcrest had a lot of success throwing the ball downfield. I don't think it's going to be too much to ask for them to shore all that up in 1 week on the back half, and I think that's where they lose this game against South Pointe. I think it's going to be a close game. I think South Pointe wins for that reason. I think the talent on the outside for South Pointe is going to be too much for Greenwood to be able to handle.
Couple comments here. I know we've got Rashodi saying South Pointe in a close one. Jimmy says Greenwood won a close one. Chris says South Pointe overtime will be a physical game. This is going to be a really good ball game, John. This is one I wish that I could be at multiple places at one time. This is a big time matchup here. I'm going to go Greenwood because they're at home.
Okay.
I think honestly it could be an overtime game. Would not surprise me one bit.
Oh, I would love that.
I love the Eagles. You know, that's a great stadium down there. They play in the Bab there. Great place. I think Greenwood wins this game, but I think it's going to be super tight. And honestly, I think if they win, it's going to be close. If South Pointe wins, it may not be close. It might get out of
agree
hand.
with that. I agree with that. Now, you think it's going to be high scoring, or you think we're going to have some
Oh, man. I'm thinking we're looking high 20s, low
Really?
30s, I think. Yep.
Okay,
I think both
I'm
teams,
expecting like a.
I think both teams are going to score.
Okay, I'm thinking even more than that.
Think so.
I'm
Okay.
thinking like 35-27 kind of game.
Could be. But that'll be a fun one to see if you guys are at that one. I know Bill usually checks us out. He's going to be there. Bill, definitely keep us up there. That'll be a wild ball game for sure there. And now, John, looking down at the lower state in 4A, big matchup here. Buford traveling to Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach, just a machine again. Beats the daylights out of Aiken last week. Beaufort had a very nice win over North Augusta. North Augusta team that hasn't been performing the best this year, but they've got a lot of talent still, and they beat, I think, 44-10. The Eagles look really good, John, but we know what Myrtle Beach can do with Berger and Randall and Doty and all those guys there. Do you think that Beaufort can continue their strong play and have something for the Seahawks?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can make Myrtle Beach play a good game, but I think Myrtle Beach is certainly going to play a good game.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach is, I think at this point in the season, to me, they are the class of 4A. That really they have been all year. You could say, hey, Greenville maybe part of the year. You could argue South Point right now.
Yep.
You could say Greenwood part of the year. But I think right now, Myrtle Beach is the best team in the state. I think they're just nothing against Beaufort.
Yeah.
Nothing against Beaufort. I've been very impressed with their first two wins in the playoffs. They've had a great year. They've been in the top 10 majority of the year. But Myrtle Beach is just, they're that good.
That Beaufort defense has been playing very well. Had a couple nice victories. They held North Augusta down there pretty well. Held a very good South Florence team down to below their averages as well.
But that's without Sellers too.
That's true. But but even with the other guys, they've been playing well with McWhite and those guys. But I do like Myrtle Beach at home. I think just too much offense. Randall and those guys are just so tough to stop. And they've been in some lower scoring games too. You think about the game about West Florence, they won 14-7. They don't mind playing kind of a low scoring defense game if they have to. But I don't know if the Beaufort defense can hold them to that. And I like Myrtle Beach winning this ball game, maybe by 10 points, 14 points. But Beaufort's been a good team, but I like Myrtle Beach at home.
Yeah, and Beaufort's got the luxury too of, hey, nobody's gonna pick us to win. Nobody's gonna expect us to win.
Mm-hmm.
We can go out and we can play our game. We can play as wild as we want. If we lose
right.
by 30, nobody's gonna blame.
That's right.
Go for it.
That's right. And our last game here in 4A, John, we've got West Florence traveling to Hartsville, a region rematch from earlier in the year. West Florence come off the nice victory over South Aiken, who we thought was kind of a sleeper team there in 4A. Nice one for West Florence. Hartsville beat another region opponent last week, North Myrtle Beach. Both the teams are playing very good football here. I believe Hartsville won that first game, correct?
33-13.
Okay,
they won big.
Beat them pretty handily there.
Now that was
early in the year.
Early in the year, and I believe that was in Florence.
I'm not sure.
Either way, this game Friday will be in Hartsville.
Over in Kellytown Stadium. Yep. That's gonna be a fun one there. Who do you like? We know that Hartsville can run it really well with those two backs they've got there. West Florence has a really solid defense. Could be low scoring. I think the Red Foxes at home will be too much for West Florence.
I tell you, I think West Florence is the better team.
Yeah.
I think Hartsville's playing much better football. Not much better. I think Hartsville's playing really, really good football, and I think they're playing good enough now, and to be at home, and the fact that they've already beat them before. I like Hartsville. I think West Florence is a really, really good football team. I just think Hartsville's they got it going on right now.
Yeah, they do.
Pirates being hot at the right time, and they're smoking hot right now. I like Hartsville in this game.
Yeah, really good run game, really fun team to watch there. Rashody's got Hartsville in overtime. Ryan's got Hartsville at home. Chris has got Hartsville by 14-17.
Okay.
That Myrtle Beach game, Chris says Myrtle Beach blows them out. And then Jimmy says Beaufort's defense is allowing 12.6 points per game. He has the Eagles by 10.
Whoa,
that would be a shot.
That would be great.
I'll make a guarantee right now, guys. If Beaufort beats Myrtle Beach by 10, Beaufort's my team of the week next week. No matter what happens, I'm putting the Eagles in that spot if they win by 10 points. So
that would be something crazier than that.
That would be a big time victory there for the Eagles. But yeah, that'll be a fun game. 4A will be a lot of fun this week. It certainly will. So definitely keep us up to date if you guys are at a ball game there. Now, before we get into 3A, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at the George Agency. Open enrollment is here, John. They've been serving the insurance agency of South Carolina for over 40 years now. Full-on insurance agency concentrated on employee benefits and health insurance and office in Mullins and Roseland. They can help you all across the state. They've got clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, Aiken, wherever in the state. So if you need help, give them a buzz. If you don't have insurance through your company, talk to them. Maybe you're a seasonal employee like a waiter or whatever down at the beach. Give them a buzz. If you own a small business, give them a call as well. They can help you out with that stuff for your whole group. So definitely check out Bradley, Larry, Richard, and the crew at georgeagency.net. And then over at Secured Advantage Federal Credit Union. They have a clear purpose to improve the financial lives of their members. They offer much lower loan rates and don't charge the fees that other banks do. Whatever your personal journey, Security Advantage is here to offer you smart financial solutions. Join today at securitydadvantagefcu.com. That's securitydadvantagefcu.com. Security Advantage Federal Credit Union. Win at banking, thrive at life. Member NCUA. So big shout out to our two friends there. And if you guys, I know I've said this before, if you guys want to get involved with the show, we're trying to plan a trip down to Columbia to cover the state championships, aka hotels cost money. Would love to have somebody on board to help out with that. So definitely hit us up. You know, the high school league is not making it easy to cover all five, spread it out across 3 different days this year. So definitely trying to stay down there for a couple nights to make it all work. But if you guys want to get involved with the show, certainly let us know. We'll give you a great deal, I promise. But Jones, look at 3A now. 3A Upper State. A surprise here. Chester going on the road to Powdersville. Also a big-time game here. Clinton going to Daniel. And then in Lower State, we've got Brooklyn Casey hosting Camden. And then Dillon hosting Oceanside, John. 4 really big games, especially looking at Lower State. I think that's the only quadrant that's had all 4 number 1s win so far and continue winning. Let's start here with Chester and Powdersville. Chester coming off the big upset victory over Chapman last week. A kind of a comeback late win there. Zan Dunham goes for 330 and 4 TDs, I think. Just a really good ball player there. Powdersville sneaks out another win over Wren. A super close ball game there. I can't remember the final score, but it was a 1-score game. They scored late.
21-17.
21-17. They went on a 4+ minute drive, 99 yards to win that ball game. That's without Thomas Williams, too. He went out with an injury. The Rambert kid, Jalen Rambert, moved over to play some running back and took it in the end zone for the victory there. John, that's the game where we don't know if Thomas Williams is back yet or not for Powdersville. I know we saw him get hurt a few weeks ago at Berea. He was back from that. They said he got injured again. Don't know how bad it's going to be. I haven't really heard how serious it is for him. So I don't know if he's playing or not. And that makes a huge difference in this ballgame, John.
Big time difference because I always talk about, hey, who's the best player on the field? It might be Zan Dunham. Mm-hmm. It might not be if he's back. But I think that is key for Powdersville because the way Powdersville is not playing, they've won. Mm-hmm. They've been winning, but they haven't been playing as good a football as of late as I think they've been playing throughout the season. Mm-hmm. Whereas Chester has really turned it up a notch. And I tell you what, I got to apologize to all the Cyclones if there's any Cyclone fans out there. When they lost to Lower Richland earlier in the year, I was like, Chester's not that great. Mm-hmm. Turns out Lower Richland is
good football team.
Really
good football team over there, Diamond Hornets are.
They're the one team. Clinton deserved that win. Glad Clinton is still in the playoffs, but man, I wish Lower Richland was still in. I wish we could get a fan vote to put them back in because they were a really good team this year. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I like Chester in this game. I think they're playing again. I think they're playing better football. How many times can Powdersville win a last-second game?
Yeah, they're very experienced in some tight ball games for sure.
And hey, hats off to them for winning it. But hey, Chester did the same thing last week too. It's a really good Chapman team on the road. I just like Chester in this game. I think they've got it going on right now.
Yeah, I will say I've got a comment here from Brooks says Powdersville by 10. It says Thomas is out for the week, so that's not a good look there. I will say this: we talked about Powdersville being in some close games. Chester, I don't know the best way to say this. I mean, Chapman almost let them hang in that game. You know, Chapman had a lead a couple times late where they could have ran out the clock by running the ball, went to throw it and threw a couple picks late to kind of let Chester score to win the game. I don't think Powdersville makes that same mistake if they're in that position because they've been in some of these games against Broome and Wren and whoever you want to talk about, Wren and Broome twice each pretty much really. Yeah. And, 2 close games against both of them there. Powdersville playing at home is going to be tough. Without the Williams kid, that's a big loss there. You wonder if they're going to play Jalen Rambert at running back full-time and have him go both ways at linebacker, or if that's more like a situational type deal this week where if it's a big play or inside the if it's a goal line package or whatever it is. I'm going to go with Powdersville at home. I think that the Hudgens kid is going to play a big game there, the quarterback. Chapman scored some points on Chester throwing the ball. I think Hudgens can do that. I like Powdersville in a close one here, and I think the Patriots stay undefeated and move on to the Upper State Championship.
I'm totally cool with Powdersville win.
Yeah.
It's such a good story with Powdersville. I got a little soft spot for Chester, too, so I'm going to be pumped for whoever wins this game.
Yeah, this is a fun
great
game,
story either way. Great job by Chester to storm back and to have a really good season if they win this game. And dream season continues for Crowdersville if they take it. There's going to be another really good game. I wish I could get this game.
Yes,
So
yes.
two really good quarterbacks in this game.
Yep.
Two well-coached teams. Two teams that can win close ball games.
Yep.
You can't ask for more.
Yeah. One more shameless plug. If you missed our interview with Coach Muster, go check that out on our Facebook page. Really good insight into building the program and some of the guys they've got. So definitely watch that this week if you're interested in the Patriots at all. But John, the next game here, this is my biggest one in 3A for the week. Clinton going to Daniel. Defending 3A state champion Daniel, hosting the Red Devils. Clinton a 48-34 victory over Lower Richland last week. Daniel a 49-21 victory over Woodruff. John, two just powerhouse teams this season, man. It's a shame that one of them's got to lose, honestly.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's a shame that Lower Richland had to play Clinton early on.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a terrific ball game too. Daniel has done everything they needed to this season.
Mm-hmm.
Haley haven't won 70-0, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They know what they're doing. They know what they've got. They know how to play. They've been in control. I think every ball game they played, they should.
Yeah, haven't played a close game. They have
total control. Clinton is going to give them a lot of friction. I still think I got to go Daniel because I think Daniel's a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But I tell you what, I was so impressed with what Clinton did last week against Lower Richland. We talked about how big Lower Richland is, how big that defensive line is, how tough it would be for Clinton's offense to have a ton of success. Mm-hmm. They scored 48 points.
Yeah.
But they had to.
Yeah.
48-34 game. Super impressed with Clinton. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Can they knock off two really, really good teams 2 weeks in a row? I just don't know. I think Daniel's slightly better, but Daniel's got to prove it.
Yeah.
Daniel hasn't played a team like Clinton yet.
These are two very evenly matched teams. I did some math earlier, John, some homework here. Daniel on the season averaging 47 points, giving up 11 per game. Clinton on the season averaging 46 points, giving up 16 a game. So very, very tight teams there. You feel like it's going to be just a great ball game. That game last week against Lower Richland for Clinton, quarterback Davis Wilson was back. Huge pickup there. He actually, the game's tied at 34-all. He runs a fake punt, throw a touchdown pass to get the lead. They score again late. So it always helps out when your quarterback is also your punter. You can do some more creative things there. Both the running backs, Copeland and James, went over 100 yards. But lots of talent beside those guys, too. The other Copeland guy, they've got Ja'Cory Gary, Peyton Pitts, big-time offensive lineman there. On the defensive side, what I like about these guys, they cause a lot of turnovers. I think they had 4 last week against Lower Richland. And that's something you got to do in some of these big games. So defense is very opportunistic there. Daniel, ho-hum, another big victory last week. Pierman goes for 292, 3 touchdowns, 78 rushing, and another touchdown. You worry about the running back and their running game because Chris Edge, we think, is out. He didn't play last week at all for them. Rumors have it was an ACL. Nobody's really said for sure. I've heard it's week to week. I've heard he's done for the year. I've heard he might be back, for upper state to get there. So who knows if he's going to play. I don't think he's going to play, just on what I'm hearing, but I could be completely wrong about that. So that's a big shot. I had the Shaw kid had a big game last week for them, but Edge is a starter for the reason, obviously. Right. But out wide, they've got the Merck kid, they've got Swinney, they've got Brown Wallace, Kelly, lots of playmakers there. The defense is kind of led by Lawson and Griffin Batt there on D-line and the linebacker position. I think, really looking both ways, I think this is the best team that each other has played. Yeah. No doubt about that. Daniel, we say, kind of had a soft schedule a little bit. They played a 7A team out of Georgia, but I don't think they were that big of a 7A team, or not that good one.
They beat them up.
They did. Clinton played Chapman. Clinton played Lower Richland. I still think Daniel's probably better.
They also played Lawrence.
They did. I still think Daniel's probably better than all those teams there. This is going to be just a great ball game. I do like the fact that Clinton's been in some close games where Daniel really hasn't. We should also this, John. They're playing over in Central. We were at a game earlier this year, and I don't know how much of a home field advantage that really is over there.
No, and I think the fans kind of have, the same attitude. It's, hey, we know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We know what's going to happen. It's kind of had that, what you call a Clemson disease last few years where, we know we're going to win. We know we're going to win big. We kind of do what we want.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And I think you get a tight game in the fourth quarter. Yeah, you might have some energy pumped into that stadium. I tell you what I'm interested in seeing about Friday. With Edge not playing, Daniel likes to throw the ball.
Yeah.
They would prefer to throw the ball than run the ball anyways. And a guy like Pierman and Burke, you definitely should. But I wonder if that changes the game plan at all. Do they throw the ball even more? And then also, you mentioned Clinton. They're ball hawks.
Yep.
Hey, for Clinton, makes you want to throw the ball a little bit more. Have some more opportunities to get in there, to have something go wrong, get that ball in your hands, and change the momentum. So it's gonna be a great game to see. I'll be interested to see how the scheme goes for Daniel on offense.
Yeah, I know last week they kind of ran Pierman a little bit more as well. Kind of had to. I wonder if that kind of continues there. I'll tell you what, Clinton, they're going to bring a huge crowd to this ball game. Like, they will probably fill up that opposite side fan, bringing the whole town to come over there. I like Clinton in a close ball game here. I think that offense and the way they pull the guards, I think that can kind of negate what Lawson's going to do a little bit. Kind of get him moving, and maybe he gets a little confused, whatever it is. I like Clinton, very close ball game here. Just high scoring, though. I think I'm thinking lots of points. I'm thinking lots of points here. Lots of points here. Chris says Daniel's tough. He's got Daniel winning that ball. Greg Redford says Clinton in a close one.
Okay.
So a couple, different opinions there. I like Clinton. I think, John, you like Daniel. I think we're both thinking a pretty close ball game, though, it seems like.
And this would be another one. I would love for Daniel to win because I think they're the better team, and I like to see the better teams go further. But boy, if Clinton upsets them, I would love to see like a Clinton Chester state champ. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'll be cool with whoever wins this game too. This is another one that will not upset me, whichever way it goes.
That'll be a big time ball game. We can't wait to see how that one turns out there Friday night, John. Let's look now at the lower state here in 3A. Brooklyn Casey and Camden. Fun matchup here. Brooklyn Casey hung on to win. I think Hanahan scored late and missed the extra point last week in that 1-point victory. Camden played great defense like they have all year long. Shut down Ainer. I think I like Tanner Staten and Brooklyn Casey a little bit here, a little more offense than what Camden has. But this game could really go either way. Yeah,
this would be a much easier decision for me if the game was at Zemp Stadium over in Camden. But they've got to travel to the Cage over there in Casey. That's not an easy place to play. Cannon, not giving up a single point in the playoffs yet.
That's tough.
Not a single point. Quite impressive. They don't have the offense that they had last year. They still got Coach Rent. They're still a well-coached team with a lot of talent, a lot of confidence. Brooklyn Casey, they've been like this a little bit all year. I was expecting them to really handle Hanahan last week, and they didn't do it.
Let me ask you about their offensive line, because we know what Camden can do with Xavier McLeod and those guys on the defensive line. How did they hold up against Chapman, you felt like, at offensive line?
It wasn't great in the first half. Chapman was
got to give you some pause there.
Yeah, they were getting back there, but the second half, they were able to do some things, they were changing things, and they were able to combat that. But the thing that makes Brooklyn Casey so good is the quarterback's great. Mm-hmm. He's great. He's a tough kid. Reminds me a lot like Pro Franklin at Greenwood. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy, you can hit him, and it's like he's rubber band.
He's ready to go again.
Bouncing right back. But they got so much speed on the outside. They got two running backs that are real quick. They got two wide receivers on the outside that are very, very fast. Once they get that ball out, the race is on. Mm-hmm. I think Cannon's got enough athletes, and they're well coached enough to be disciplined enough to be able to combat that. I think Chapman, as good of a team as they are, the team speed for Chapman, I think, hurt them in that BC game. Whereas I think Camden will be able to handle it a little bit better. And they just got a great defense. I like Camden in a close one. The only problem is, the only thing I think where BC's got a great chance here is BC's got a far better offense.
Mm-hmm. They do much better.
More playmakers, and if it gets to be a 14-7, 14-10 kind of game, I like BC's chance to hit a big play than I do Camden. But I think Camden's a better team. I like Camden. Their defense has been absolutely incredible.
Next game here in the lower state, a big-time matchup as well. Dillon and Oceanside, John. Two teams that can really score it. Oceanside with the running back Lime Blue. The quarterback Colby Sherry can really throw it around. Joe Call's a great coach down there. Dillon, Jack Grider, Nemo Squire. The nasty cats are always there on defense, John. This is going to be a fun ball game, I think, between those two teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Oceanside, I'm so glad that Oceanside's getting to be in the playoffs. They got COVID, took them out of the playoffs last year, and so disappointing because they were so good last year, too. This is going to be a really good game. The one not that we've had on Dillon, everybody, not really us, but everybody is, gosh, who they played.
Yeah.
Crestwood last weekend, we had some viewers say, hey, that Crestwood game's Knights are going to give them a tough time, and Dillon handled them.
Easily, They're
taking another step up in competition again this week with Oceanside. Oceanside, probably the best team they played all year.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really good game. I was impressed with Oceanside last week knocking off Gilbert.
Yeah.
I thought Gilbert was going to win that game. I thought Gilbert was a little bit better team. So Oceanside, they're playing really good football at the right time. They start off a little bit slow. Now they've been coming to their own. It's gonna be a great game. I think Dillon's a better team though, but they gotta prove it.
Yeah, Oceanside, they've been in close games as well. You know, they played Gray Collegiate early in the season. Played Myrtle Beach. You know, hung tough with Myrtle Beach there. They did get smoked by the team in North Carolina, but those guys are playing good football there with Coach Call and those guys. I like Dillon between the white walls, especially, man. Tough place to play. I like Dillon at home to win this game. I think Nemo Squire has a big night for the Wildcats.
Now, to note here, and this is interesting, I think, as good as Dillon is, if they do win Friday, no matter what, that's their last home game.
That's right.
They would not get to host the Lower State Championship. They would have to go on the road and a bit of a road trip.
Yep.
They're going to Casey or going to Camden.
Yep.
So that's going to be. But hey, they got to win the ball game.
Got to win first.
Got to win the ball game first before you worry about that.
Got to win first. Couple comments here from Bugsby and Chris Rashotti, all picking Dillon. Jimmy says it'd be fun to see Oceanside win. But yeah, that's gonna be a great ball game there for sure in 3A, John. Now let's move down now into 2A. And we'll just go ahead and knock it out right off the bat here. Biggest game in the state, probably. Everybody's talking about it in Upper State. We've got Abbeville going to Gray Collegiate. Then the lower part of that bracket, we've got Newberry going to Christ Church. Lower State, we've got Silver Bluff traveling to Sherall, I believe. And then we've got Barnwell still winning as a 4 seed there. They're going down to Philip Simmons. John, let's start here with Abbeville and Gray Collegiate, the game that we're probably going to go to Friday night. Abbeville at Gray being played at Fairfield Central High School due to seating requirements here in the SCHSL and the later rounds of the playoffs there. Abbeville won a game over Saluda 49-34. Closer than some people thought it was going to be there, John. Kind of high score in there. And then Gray Collegiate just absolutely blew out Crescent 58-0. You know, Crescent was a team that had scored 60 2 weeks ago. But, you know, I think Gray had the easier of those two matchups between either Crescent or Saluda for sure. Yeah. Abbeville, we know about the quarterback, the Rayford kid, the running backs, you know, Harrison and Marshall, those guys. Defensive guys like Jeremiah Lomax, who just made the Shrine Bowl today. Coach Nichols does a great job there. Gray Collegiate, we know about their big guys too. You know, KZ Adams, maybe the best running back in the state, up around 2,500 yards on the season already.
Maybe the best player in the state.
Could be. Went for 247 and 4 touchdowns last week. Also, Gray, they now have quarterback Trey Robinson back. You know, he was out for a couple weeks due to some back issues there. Riley Staten came in and played very well for him. Robinson's back. They both played last week. I don't know what the deal is. They may kind of do a rotation or maybe kind of play them both this week. We got guys like Corey Kelly and Alec Johnson as well, John. This is going to be a great matchup. Who you like in Panthers or War Eagles?
I got to go Gray. This is not only the game of the week. This is the best game in the state of South Carolina up there this week. And probably will be until we get to the weekend in championship.
Yeah, I mean, these are no disrespect to Silver Bluff because we think they're very good as well. These are probably the two best teams in 2A.
Yeah, and Silver Bluff's going to have something to say about that, I think. Sherrall's going to have something to say about Friday.
Yeah.
But, yeah, these have been the class of 2A all year, really the last couple years. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you got clashing styles. You got, you know, Abbeville, you know, homegrown guys, you know, solid program year after year. You got Gray, the new startup school. Maybe they recruit a little bit. Some people don't like that. They got to go out to Winsburg to play a playoff game. It's awesome stuff. And both these teams, it's not everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to go to the state championship. You know, there's no. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that. But Abbeville, those guys, we see the fans on here. They don't like Gray. It's not, hey, this is a great game. We're excited. They don't like Gray. they want to put him in the dirt, you know. And Gray wants fruit. Hey, you're going to have to respect us.
Yeah.
We'll make you respect us. Yeah, I love the way that they are led. I love the head coach there at Gray. I love the attitude of that program. This is going to be an awesome game. I hope it is razor thin close all the way through. But I think Gray with KZ Adams, I think he's the difference.
Yeah, you guys, and like I mentioned earlier, if you just tuned in now, we've got an interview with Coach Adam Holmes from Gray Collegiate coming out tomorrow on our press page. Definitely check that out. He gives some great insight into what they're thinking is going into this week and whatnot. I know that he told us, and I saw some interviews today with some of the players, and Gray has had this game circled on their calendar since last year. We told him last time on the show, and Jarrell was like, Kevin and I have looked ahead. We had this one circled for about 2 months now, and he's like, honestly, guys, we have to.
I love that he said that.
I don't know if Abbeville has as well, but Gray, this is a big game for them. He told us that every year they take another. They went to first round of playoffs, second round of playoffs, third round of playoffs. Last year they went to upper state. Their last step is to get to the state championship game, and you got to go through Abbeville to do that. So this is a big time game here. I do worry a little bit about Abbeville. Their defense let up some points last week to Saluda. Season high allowed 34 there. Gray has just been playing lights out on both. I think this is Gray's best defense they've had in the last several years, especially. That may be the difference. The key I think to beating Abbeville always is you just can't make mistakes. You can't throw a pick, you can't have a fumble, you can't miss an assignment, a big penalty, whatever it is. These are two powerhouse programs. I think Abbeville is not quite as good as they have in the last couple of years. I like Gray to win this game. I think Casey Adams is going to be too much, and with Robinson and Staten playing there. But I think the real key, though, John, is that defense for Gray.
Yeah, they got to step up too. Because we know Abbeville's defense is going to play. We know they're going to come play, and as good as Gray's offense has been, this can be a game where they could struggle a little bit. Where I don't think they're going to score 30 points.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game, and like you said, you got to protect the football. If you're going to have a limited opportunities against this Abbeville defense, and you can't forfeit any opportunity you have with football in this game.
Yeah, you look back at that Saluda-Gray game, kind of a mutual opponent there between those two. Saluda did a great job of really playing ball control. I think Gray only had about 6 possessions in that game. Scored 20 points, which is enough to win 206 there against them. But Abbeville, I wouldn't be surprised to do something similar. Abbeville runs it a ton. Everybody knows that they throw maybe 1 or 2 passes in the game. If they need to, they can throw more, but usually it's just a couple times. So that could limit Gray's possessions, which means you've got to take advantage. You can't have any mistakes like a fumble or a pick. We got Greg in here said Abbeville by 10. Okay. Jay says, A-Town, see y'all there. We'd love to meet you, man. Come say hey for sure. Chris says Abbeville by 90, LOL.
I love it.
Who thinks the A-Bone's the difference there? That'll be a great ball game. I think I'm picking Greg. John, is that who you're going with as well?
I'm going to go with Greg, too.
If we're wrong, guys, feel free to come tell us. We've been wrong before. We don't mind it. But I think just a little too much firepower for the War Eagles this year, and that defense is gonna make a difference for sure.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I've never been to Abbeville for a game. I am pumped.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be awesome.
A lot of fun to see that one. It's great. Abbeville over at Fairfield Central Friday night. Definitely come check it out. And
oh gosh, yeah, I forgot.
Fairfield Central.
I got Abbeville all on my head. It's going to be in Winsboro.
Yeah. But if you're there, come say hey. Love to chat with you guys. Definitely check out our interview tomorrow night with Coach Adam Holmes as he explains, this great program, what they got going on this year, and then even looking ahead into this game against Abbeville. Gave some really good insight there, John. Our other upper state 2A matchup, 2 teams that we really didn't expect to be there either. Phil Strickland last year at Newberry, they keep winning. They're going on the road to Christ Church, who won a 3-0 ball game over St. Joe's last week. I think they beat them in overtime earlier this year, beat them by 3-3 this last week. So a really good ball game there. Christ Church at home, that defense is tough, John. I tell you, I think these guys with Newberry, they're playing for Coach Strickland. I think they're going to win this ball game.
I think they are too. I like Chesterfield. I thought Chesterfield was a really good team. Every time I look at Chesterfield, every week they are putting up a ton of points.
Yep.
And, last week Newberry said, hey, that's pretty cool. Watch this, we can do it too. And put up 56 on them.
Yeah.
Really impressed with Newberry. They got the wide receiver. Very
Chalmers.
Good player. Chalmers. Thank you, Chalmers out there on the outside.
Strombo guy.
Great, one of the best wide receivers in the state. Great player. He's going to be playing on Saturday somewhere. And yeah, they got to play for Coach.
Yep.
They got to play for Coach. And I think it's good. This is going to be a good test one because as good as Christ Church defense is, it's going to be a fun matchup. But I think Newberry's got it going on. They got the intangibles going on for them right now that you can't just teach. I like Newberry in this game.
That's right. I'd be a good one there for sure. I think we're both leaning that direction.
And they're at home too.
And that will set up a very fun matchup. If it's Newberry Gray, that's an inter-region game there for sure. If we see that next round. But
actually, they go to Christ Church. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. But we'll see what happens there. Looking at the lower state, John, a fun matchup here. Silver Bluff traveling to Sherrall. I know we both picked Timberland last week. We got some flack for that from the Sherrall guys. Hey, hats off with the Braves.
Great win. It was a great game.
Great win.
Great
win. We love that. So if you guys want to talk trash, feel free to come in, give it to us, whatever. But Silver Bluff, Sherrall, Silver Bluff Trayvon Dunbar, all those guys, they're just so tough up front on defensive two. The McLeod kid, Silver Bluff's just a monster of a team, John.
They are. The only thing I'm concerned about Silver Bluff is they had to bye in the first round, and then they played a Central team that didn't really have any business being in the second round. They kind of stuck into the playoffs, upset Lee Central in their first game.
Which that region, Marion, Lee Central.
Yeah, not very
fraud,
good.
Fraud alert.
So this is going to be the first real test that Silver Bluff has had in a few weeks, certainly in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Sherrall coming off that huge win against Timberland, they're going to have a ton of confidence, a ton of momentum coming to this game. And then having played Sherrall.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. And that's a long trip. I don't know how far that is. I know Silver Bluff's way down there, down around Aiken. Got to go all the way up to the other state line.
Yeah.
Going to play the Braves. So that's going to work out well in Sherrall's in their favor. But I think Silver Bluff's just too good. That defense is just so good.
Yeah, they are.
I'd love to see a great game. I'd love to see a great game. I'd love to see Sherrall pull out another 1-point win. That would be.
I got nothing against the Braves.
That would be total chaos if Sherrall is able to do that. And I think we're gonna have an upset in that other game in the lower state. So that would be really, really cool to see just the lower state get turned on its head for the Sherrall win. But I like the Bulldogs a little bit.
Yeah, Trayvon Dunbar, really good running back there. That'll be a fun game for sure. Just circle back for a second. Got a couple of Dillon comments here where their defense is playing some bend not break defense. They're playing really great right now. Should be a great challenge against the Oceanside for sure. You had a 75-yard pick six to start the game last week as well.
Oh wow!
Greg says he likes Christchurch better than you think. Yeah, Christchurch.
Okay.
They hung tough with Abbeville there. I think it was 7-7. Late in the second quarter, I believe it was, and Abbeville kind of busted it open. I just worry about Christchurch's offense, like we said, and I think the Newberry can score enough to kind of put some pressure on. I think they're going to win that ball game there. A couple comments here for Silver Bluff. Chris has got to pull for Sherrall.
Okay.
He said, first saw Sherrall in the 90s in Columbia, playing for state title. I love them because they're running the Gaffney as far as crowd. Yeah, Sherrall's a fun team, man. They have a great town there, great following, great fan base for sure. But let's look at the other lower state 2A matchup, John. Barnwell, maybe the most impressive team so far as seeding, making a move, except maybe like a Ridgeview there.
Yeah.
We got number 4, Barnwell, still in the playoffs. Beat Woodland pretty handily last week. They're going on the road to Philip Simmons, who beat Wade Hampton, I think, by a point.
15-14.
15-14 last week. A Barnwell team that lost to Wade Hampton, if you want to, look into that too much there. Philip Simmons just keeps winning, John. Nobody's talking about him for a while. I know Curtis is a fan of those guys. We've talked about him a little bit for a while. Barnwell playing some great ball. We talked about on the previous show for the whole playoffs. I said, watch out for Barnwell and, Marion here. Barnwell can upset them. A couple guys said, they're young, not as good as they had been. But with those young guys, though, if you get them rolling,
yeah.
Hey, man, they don't know any better. They get some momentum
right.
going now. Barnwell down at Philip Simmons. Can they, win 3 times in a row on the road, John?
I like Barnwell in this game. I can't go against them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they played great after knocking off being lower state champs, Swamp Foxes that first week, putting up 51-40 game, round 1 down in Marion. I thought that was great. And then they beat a decent Woodland team. That game was closer than what I would like to have seen, but gosh, they just keep winning. And Philip Simmons is the better team.
Yeah, I think
Philip Simmons should probably win this game. I just like the momentum rolling with the Warhorses. I like Barnwell.
Yeah, we talk about, Tyler Smith, the running back, not the one from Gaffney, everyone at Barnwell, too. He's a younger kid, really good player. The Sanford kid at quarterback. They've got Pender back on the outside, a really good athlete there for them. Those guys can play. A fun little snippet here, John. Barnwell's head coach, Dwayne Garrick, his son, Tammin Garrick, coaches for Philip Simmons on the staff. Cool. Not the head coach, but on the staff there. So that'll be fun there to see. Philip Simmons, I think, has got a very, very good defense. And I think if they can, come out and get a little bit lead on Barnwell, those young kids early, they can really end it.
Yeah.
But I think if Barnwell gets some early, if Barnwell scores early, or maybe stops Philip Simmons, maybe it's a 0-0 game for all, whatever it is, I think if they get some momentum, I think Barnwell can win this game too.
I think it does have to be a somewhat high-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Philip Simmons kind of dictates the game with a good defensive battle, I think these young kids at Barnwell could kind of go, man, we're not scoring like we have been. What's wrong? And I think that will work out in Philip Simmons' favor if they can keep it a low-scoring game. Now, if both of them can light up the scoreboard a little bit, and it becomes a high-scoring shootout,
Yep.
I think Barnwell wins the game.
Yeah, a couple comments here. Rashodi says he thinks that Philip Simmons ends Barnwell's season. Certainly could happen for sure, John. Let's look down now at 1A here. First matchup, Southside Christian traveling to Calhoun County. We've got Rich Spring Monetta going to Lamar. C.E. Murray going to Whale Branch. C.E. Murray hosting Whale Branch. And then Baptist Hill hosting Bamberg Earhart, John. 4 pretty good ball games there. I do want to start here with Southside Christian Calhoun County. What's interesting about this one here, you kind of hate to see this happen, but it happens in the playoffs the way it works out. Southside Christian, undefeated, unanimous number 1 in the state, has to go on the road to Calhoun County, a team that I think has lost 3 or 4 ball games this year. That's the way it works out. I mentioned somebody on Twitter this week. I wish that they would go back to ranking the teams 1 through 16 on each side. But I don't know if the high school league has the manpower or even the wherewithal to do that. So I think this is kind of what we're going to be stuck with for a while here. But Calhoun County, they can put up some points, John. They really can. We know Southside Christian can score a lot with Martin and Goldcliff and those guys. Can Calhoun County kind of shock the world and beat the Sabres?
I don't think they can beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can make this a very, very good game. Southside Christian's just so good. They're so good.
So tough.
That actually, the way I go home from work, I saw them out practicing in the big field. I think Southside Christian's just a much better team. Calhoun County's very good in their own right.
They beat Barnwell. They beat some bigger teams.
They beat some good teams. They've been a little bit inconsistent. That scares me a little bit. Hey, they get to play at home. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Southside's the best team in 1A.
Yeah. We've talked about their offense. All those guys they've got. The defense has been just smothering guys. They've given up points, I think, in like 3 of their 11 games or whatever, 3 of their 12 games. Just nuts there. The next game here, John, Rich Spring Monetta heading to Lamar. I know Rashody's a big Lamar guy. I tell you what, this might be upset alert for Lamar here.
That's it. They had some trouble in McCormick.
They did.
Maybe we can understand what happened last week, that 14-0 win over McCormick. But hey, when you shut out a team, that's a big deal, especially the second round of the playoffs. Rich Spring Monetta, I was very impressed with their win last week against Great Falls. I think Great Falls has been a really good team this year. Beat those guys 48-34.
Yep.
Good win for them. But it's Lamar. I can't go against Lamar.
I tell you what, man, if you guys have not seen the Lee Park kid for Richmond Monetta play, the quarterback, very good player, very athletic, can throw it, can run it. Lamar is just talented. The McManus kids back there for those guys. They are tough to beat. I do worry about them only scoring, 14. So I think that in the previous week, McCormick won the game against who did they play there, John?
Denmark Olar.
Denmark Olar. And
Denmark 54 in that game.
Denmark Olar scored some too, though, didn't they?
Yeah, it was 54-24, 54-28 kind of game.
So I kind of worry about Lamar not scoring more than what they did there. But I mean, great defense performance, obviously, to hold McCormick to that point.
Yeah.
The Durant kid can really run there for those guys. I think Lamar wins this ball game. I mean, they're tough. They always are. Watch out for the Trojans of Rich Spring Monetta.
They can play.
They can
play. It's gonna be a good game. But I can't go against Silver Foxes.
Yeah. Rashodi says Southside Christian Lamar Part 2 for Upper State. J.D. Patterson says Southside Christian hard to beat. They certainly are. They're a team that they are running most of 1A in most sports right now, not just football.
Yeah.
They're tough to beat and everything there.
If Lamar gets that game, it'll be a home.
That is right. That is correct. Southside Christian on the road probably for the rest of the playoffs unless RSN upsets Lamar there.
Yeah.
Looking down at Lower State, we've got C.E. Murray. Really good story there, John. They're playing some great ball there for Coach Smith. They're hosting Whale Branch, a Whale Branch team that we both thought was going to lose to Lakeview last week.
Yeah.
Lakeview didn't play their best ball. I heard that Whale Branch had a very good game plan. Really had a great strategy to kind of shut those guys down there. But C.E. Murray at home, John, I'm leaning towards them beating Whale Branch.
I like Whale Branch.
Do you?
I like
They're
Whale
hot
Branch
right now.
to knock off Lakeview like they did, and to have a game plan like, hey, we're gonna out game plan, like, ooh, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive. I've been very impressed. Whale Branch team that we haven't talked about a ton. We don't talk about 1A probably as much as we should sometimes. Whale Branch had a great year, and to win that game where I know that they're 5th in the state, Lakeview was 7. They probably should have won, but it went 27-12. I mean, I was very, very impressed.
Yeah,
I think Whale Branch. I think they're the better team, and really, this next thing we're going to talk about, they're probably the 2 best teams in Lower State. But Whale Branch, they can play.
That's a
I think
big
they can play anybody.
That Lakeview offense can score with the Faye and the Dawkins kid out wide. They can put some points on the board. And to hold them to 12 is a good performance there. But I think C.E. Murray is playing too good right now. Rashodi says C.E. Murray at home. They're his sleeper team. Jimmy Sayers, Well Branch is loaded. See, that's a team, John, like you mentioned, the 1A. We don't get to see a lot of these guys. Yeah. They're so far away and so far spread out from where we're located a lot of times. We don't get to see a ton of 1A schools. But it will be a very fun game. Derek says they're well coached, good athletic team. It'll be a fun matchup there, John. And the next one here in 1A, probably the biggest one in 1A this week. Maybe the RSN Lamar game, maybe. But this one, Bamberg-Earhart traveling to Baptist Hill. 2 undefeated football teams, John.
Yeah. This
will be a lot of fun here. Bamberg-Earhart beat Carvers Bay handily. Baptist Hill beat Greasy Floyd, put up 50-plus points on those guys. Baptist Hill does some fun stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen or not, and I saw some pictures, I think, from the game, some videos. They do kind of what the right word for it is. They have the center there on the line, and they have the other linemen split out wide in front of some wide receivers. So some fun formations that they do there at Baptist Hill. The coach does a great job keeping those guys involved in the game plan and keeping them up off the bench and really ready to roll at all times. But Bamberg-Earhart, John, story program. The biased kid's a very good player. They're tough football players. They run the ball well. Defense is tough there. I think Bamberg-Earhart goes on the road and knocks off Baptist Hill, gives them their first loss.
I agree. I think they do too. I'd say Bamberg-Earhart may not be the better team in this game. Mm-hmm. But I think it's kind of like how I feel about Lamar. I've seen Bamberg-Earhart win these kind of games for years and years. I can't go against them in this kind of game. But I won't be surprised if Baptist Hill wins. It'd be cool to see that kind of, contrasting style. Baptist Hill win the game, but I think Bamberg-Earhart, they just this is how they're built. Yeah. They're built to win games like this. I think they win this one.
Will be a fun week in all classifications, but that will be a big time game for sure, John. Let's give another quick shout out here to our friends over at the George Agency, Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew. If you guys need insurance for yourself, maybe you're a seasonal worker or whatever it is, give those guys a buzz. If you're a small business owner, need it for your whole company, they can help you out with that, with group coverage and whatnot. Open enrollment's here. You don't want to miss it. You got a certain, window you got to get it done in, and this is the time right now. I think it's extended to January 15th, just opened up here in November, so definitely want to get on top of that. They can help you out all across the state. I know they're located in Mullis, Merle's Inlet. They've got offices in Columbia, Aiken, they got clients in Columbia, Aiken, Greer, Rock Hill, wherever. So don't be afraid to give a buzz just because maybe you're outside of what you think their zone is, because they don't really have that. So they can help you out wherever. But check them out at georgeagency.net, thegeorgeagency.net. And then our friends over at Security Advantage Federal Credit Union. They have a clear purpose to improve the financial lives of their members. They offer much lower loan rates and don't charge the fees that other banks do. Whatever your personal journey, Security Advantage is here to offer you smart financial solutions. Join today at securityadvantagefcu.com. That's securityadvantagefcu.com. Security Advantage Federal Credit Union, Win at Banking, Thrive at Life, member NCUA. Like I said a few minutes ago, we're still trying to go down to Columbia for the state championships. Got to be there a couple different days now because the high school league has got it set up, which we don't love. But that means there's going to be hotel costs. So if you guys want to get involved with the show, we'd love to have you and put you on the sponsor of some of our upcoming shows here. We'd certainly love to get you guys involved there, John. But going to be a fun week of football. Do want to give a quick shout out to all the players that made the Shrine Bowl today. That got announced. Also want to give the Shrine Bowl committee a hard time. Numerous misspellings on players' names. I saw one player had his first name and last name misspelled. We had multiple schools misspelled, John. I can understand you guys not having the game, whatever, I can get over it. I get it. But if you're still going to put these teams out, take the time to get the names of the players and the schools right at least.
5 or 10 minutes. And it's not like Brooklyn Casey is this brand new school that we've never heard of. They've been around forever. Mm-hmm. Forever. Get it right.
Yeah, South Pointe, you leave the E off the end. I just don't get it. Just the mess there that the Shriners are doing. But that seems to be par for the course almost here at South Carolina. I know Chris was hating on the high school league earlier. We do too at times. Just one of those things. But hey, at least we've got football, man. It could be worse. It could be worse.
If we can help out in any way,
let us know. We're happy to volunteer and do stuff.
I would love to.
Derek says he's still mad. The Lakers usually play on Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were going to win too, Derek. That was a tough ball game for sure. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us now, we've got an interview with Gray Collegiate head coach Adam Holmes coming out tomorrow. Definitely check that out here on our Facebook page. He gives some great insight into what's going on with Gray and kind of how they built the program, and also looking into this week's game against Abbeville, which is a lot of fun. It's one of the bigger games of the state, one of the games that we're going to be at. So definitely want to check that out. Check us out Sunday for our recap show, going through all the round 3 action. Check us out next Tuesday for our preview show as well. Follow us here on Facebook at Movin Chains, Instagram, Twitter at Movin Chains as well. We also have a audio-only version goes out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. So check us out on all those places. We try to do some different content everywhere. We're doing the videos here on Facebook. We do some different graphics and interviews there on Instagram as well from post-game stuff. We do score updates and teams of the week there on Twitter. If we're at a game, we're tweeting all the scores. So definitely keep checking all that stuff out and following us wherever you can. We're trying to grow this program, make it bigger and better. And we love talking football. Love having you guys in here to talk with us as well. It's great to have that happen, John. Round 3 is huge, just absolutely huge. We mentioned it. Gaffney Northwestern, big time game. We've got Clinton Daniel, big time game. South Pointe Greenwood, big time game. But I think the biggest, Abbeville at Gray Collegiate at Fairfield Central. The game we're going to be at, just going to be a nuts weekend of high school football.
Monumental. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Hope to see some guys out there.
Yep.
Let us know. And hey, if there's anything we can do, if there's something you'd rather see us do or something more you'd rather see us do, let us know.
Yeah. I'll say this every week on the recap show. We do our Players of the Week drill, and I do. That's basically just the stats that we see come across our Twitter or Facebook page. If you guys had a player on your team had a great stat line, tag us in that. Let us see it. Same thing with pictures of games you're in. Keep us involved because we can't see but so much, and we're only 3 guys who are doing this show. So definitely keep us in the loop. We're trying to get more into the interview game and whatnot, and getting more into coverage of some of these high school state championship games. So definitely got some great stuff coming for you guys, and love to have y'all. You want to have any BEF on SC Prep Talk? Oh, it's not me. Okay, not me. Sorry, Chris. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in again. A great show, John. If you're at the Abbeville Gray game, we will be. Come say hey. Love to chat some ball with you guys. And if we get all these games wrong, which we probably will, come back and tell us so next week. Love to have y'all in here, and we'll have a good time. But for John Epps and Kevin Thomas, this has been our Moving the Chains Round 3 playoff preview show, and we'll catch you guys next week.